Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Unscripted show reboot. And we're back,
We're
rebranded,
back.
and we're back with Amy Kruzek and myself. And
We're back. We're
yes,
back.
we're back.
We're back.
All right, Amy, let's start talking. First of
Yeah.
all, we've been away for a while, and we want to talk about what's happening and what's not happening. Um, we want to talk about what happened since the last time we were on air. Tell me.
What happened since the last time? When was the last show?
I think it was
2023?
no, it wasn't 2023. It was somewhere in 2024. And since then, we've had a US election,
Oh,
and a
yeah.
lot of things have gone sideways, and they continue to go sideways. We want to talk about all of that. We want to tell you what's happening in the world of spirituality, the world of wellness and health. And we want to make sure that you guys are up to date on current events because we know a lot of
Yeah.
listeners do not care about the news anymore.
They
Everything
don't.
is stress. So we're going to make it as lighthearted as we possibly can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's bring the fun. Let's bring the pop culture. I got my TikTok that's trending. I mean, we got to know about TikTok trends.
And I exonerate myself by telling you that the background to this show was chosen by Amy and not by myself. Okay, let's get right into it.
Ready?
Guys, if you are in the US right now, there's been an election and Donald Trump is president, and you have the nation more divided than ever. And the only thing I have to say to that is, why are you all still divided about stuff? Honestly speaking, you got people on one side of the fence, on the other side. Either you're left or you're right. Either you're straight
Up
or
or
you're
down?
LGBTQ. Either you're black or you're white, and so on. And really and truly, it's just a bunch of nonsense at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
It really is. It really is a bunch of nonsense. Either you're rich or you're poor, or whatever the case may be. And at the end of the day, everybody is just upset and in a vice grip of stress, and nobody trusts each other. And you got to ask yourself, is this by design, Amy? Is it by design?
Somewhat. Because I turn it off. I don't pay attention to it. I'm sorry. You probably know more than me in this area, but I try. I see my little flash of news come through and I read the headline. I'm like, okay, the Pope died. Oh, what about the Pope? I did look something up about that. Who's in line?
Who's in line?
Yeah,
And
the
do we
Pope died.
care? Look,
Do
honestly,
we care? No. I cared once upon a time, but
the things that people care about, let's talk about it for a moment. Guys, you remember when that thing happened in 2020 that you know what, where this is unscripted. The COVID thing
the
happened in
COVID.
2020.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
do.
We're not going to be talking tongue in cheek on this podcast. We never were at the beginning. We're going to just let it rip as it comes off the top of our lips. You remember when that COVID thing happened and then everybody was divided into the unvaxxed and the vaxxed? And
Yes.
like, why do y'all care so much about stuff? You got to ask yourself those questions. I think that it's a human thing. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
that human beings will always find something to fight about, whether it's because you're not taking a jab and I'm taking the jab, whether it is because you're white and I'm black, or whether it's because you're like left on the political spectrum or right on the political spectrum. People will find something to fight about. And I think it's because they don't have enough joy and happiness in their life.
Yes.
Because if they did, they would not be doing nonsense with themselves, like fighting with people online over stuff. And as I say this, I'm sure somebody's going to leave some sort of comment underneath the post saying, you don't know because you're not into this thing and whatever, whatever. And we don't
Yeah.
care. We don't care.
Yeah. I think, I think people get, oh, sorry, I was going to say something off color, but I think
Just
people get off on fighting. Like people actually start fights. Do you know that? Do you see that?
yes, there's a poison that has permeated social media where people, it doesn't matter. Like there was a little 12-year-old girl on a post that was put on Facebook, and she's boxing. And some grown ass adult is going to put something under the comments saying, like, oh, we should totally, she would totally get creamed in a fight. I'm like, she's 12 years old.
Yeah.
Give her props for actually getting into a
Yeah.
boxing ring.
Exactly. right?
and stop the negativity, the flood of negativity. Why do trolls exist?
I think there's a jealousy there.
Well,
Somewhat.
there's a jealousy. So let me ask you a question. If you were the legislator of the whole world, what are the laws that you would put into place right now?
Ah!
And you guys in the audience, you can think about that. If you were legislating the whole world, let me tell you what laws I would put in. Let me start this off. I would ban trolls off of social media, which means that there would be no anonymity on the internet. So if you said something, everybody would know who you are.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you couldn't hide behind some stupid XLR 24 XYZ name, right?
Yes.
Everybody knew who you were, your location, and whatever. I would legislate that so that if
Wait,
you live,
stop. Wait, listen. Stop
well,
there because there's do you ever watch that show Black Mirror?
yes,
There is a show, there is an actual episode in there that happens.
yes, everybody knows who everybody is. So if you make stupid comments online to people and you're political or you're racist or whatever the case may be, everybody knows who you are. I would absolutely
Yeah.
put that in place. All right.
Yes.
What are the other laws that I would put in place off the top of
What
the?
about no social media? You have to meet with people in a park again.
Well,
Well,
yes, you could put that in place, but I think that a lot of people would just be not anonymous anymore. They would just be
yeah.
upfront and personal. All
How
right,
about
so that people knew.
incentives? Incentives. Are people incentivized anymore? Not in,
Incentivized to do what?
I don't know. Incentives like, hey, if you do this, you'll get a car. I don't know.
You want to know another law I would put in place? That if you got drunk anywhere, immediate jail for you if you act
Yeah.
obnoxious. So, like there are certain kind of social annoyances,
Yeah.
right? That I would probably put it in place, like drunk people as an example, making themselves a nuisance on the highways and so on, endangering people's lives.
Yes.
Immediate jail for you.
Yeah.
What about the people that are like super that they just want to cause problems anywhere? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Karen's got to go.
Karen's got to
Karen's
go.
Karen's got to go.
Yeah. Maybe
All right.
change their name.
Karen's got to go. So there would be special legislation for Karen type people, whether it be male or female. I believe the males have a special names and so on. They got to go.
Ken and Karen's.
Yes, they are a special kind of social annoyances. I would absolutely do that. Now, you might say, well, David, that's not cool because, people have different problems. And the response I'm going to say to you guys is, let's say that you have a problem, all right? You have something going on in your life. Why do you make it other people's problem in society? All
Yeah.
right? Why would you leave your house to cause trouble outside for some innocent person just going about their lives? Okay, we have enough stress in the society with different things, and we don't need any more of that. So I'd probably put that in place. And I would definitely legislate that rich people or famous people who want to cause a problem, yeah, there would be a tax for that.
Oh,
For
a
sure.
tax.
There would be a tax for that. If you want to say stupid stuff, yeah, we're going to tax you for that specifically. But then it's just my preference. I think that there are certain kinds of social annoyances which increase the stress in society.
Yeah.
All right. And they don't need to be there, and nobody's doing anything about it.
Nobody is. Why? That's my question I keep thinking about. Why?
I
Why?
I think it's because it's by design as well. I think
Yeah,
when people are fighting with each other, a lot of people stand to benefit. I know
they do.
personally some people who benefit out of people fighting with each other.
Yeah.
And so,
Is
yeah,
that a learned behavior? I would think it's a learned behavior.
I think as human beings, we generally tend to look at differences. And I hate to have to say it because this has been experimented on over and over again. If you guys just check the Milgram experiments,
Oh, yeah.
Stansfield experiments, you could just Google them on YouTube. You will see that we as human beings tend to bend towards the negative a lot quicker than we bend towards the positive. No one knows why that is, but it's a statement of fact. You can dispute it, but the evidence and the research suggest that human beings on the whole, when you cause any kind of fear, guilt, or shame, they bend more towards that than hopeful outlook. They get to the hopeful outlook after they go through the depths of despair. But just initially, this is why on social media, when you get on social media, you could be searching for stuff like, oh, cute kittens or puppies, and then you find yourself somewhere along the line in some sort of dark area of the internet
Yes.
where people are trying to sell you OnlyFans subscriptions or
Yes.
manipulated sites, and that is how it works. I'm sorry,
That's
that's what
happened
the
to me.
algorithm slides you to.
That's
Because
happened to me.
yep, that's happened. Yeah.
I like, what? I'm like, wait a minute. I was just looking at something and it like porn shows up. What?
Yes, and knowing you is because you put some innocent thing
No,
in there.
my brother sent it to me. My brother sent me something and it was like, what? He would never. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. It
It's
depends on how you search because there's so
yeah.
many colloquials in there, so you're
Yeah.
gonna end up there. Guys, look, unfortunately, this is the world that we live in, which brings us to the next issue. So, how are you guys doing in terms of the finances? It's going well? Because apparently the world has gotten a lot more financially stressful,
Yeah.
which is why people no longer participate because you guys are worn down, a lot of them. And it
Yes.
started from COVID, and people are worn down and they're tired and they just don't have the energy anymore to engage. Okay. And honestly, I think that has a lot to do with people just wanting to give up on life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. More suicidal things too have happened
Yeah.
where people just are like, I can't take it anymore.
Yes, there are a lot of people who are out there who no longer want to engage in society.
Yeah.
And so what they're doing is they're trying to get to a stage where they're just okay. They're
Yeah.
getting to that freeze stage. A lot of people are in a freeze stage. They're no longer engaging. There's no enthusiasm, no more happy outlook to life. They
Well,
just get into this stress state.
well, wait a minute. They are engaging in social media. They are engaging on TikTok, Instagram. They are engaging, but they're not balancing it out,
Hmm.
you know? So, where's the balance in that? Because those things, when you scroll, those things can bring you down. They put you in like a trance.
Yes, because nothing good is happening on social media,
No,
unfortunately.
no.
Because I think a lot of people are just watching the news and watching to see what's going to affect them and so on, and they're in a state of hypervigilance, right? They're wondering like when the next shoe is going to drop, right, and how it will affect them.
So maybe that's why they go out and want to fight with. That's what I mean. I think it's a behavior learned
Mm,
from the
I see.
TV because they're seeing all this happening and they have all the energy built up in them and they don't know what to do with it. And so they go to Walmart and then yell at the greeter or something.
Correct. I
It
think
just, yeah, welcome to Walmart. Bah.
a few, right?
Yeah, welcome. And then they get, but then it just passes down. That's not very kind, first of all, to do that. Be aware of
No,
that.
it isn't. It isn't very kind, but I think a lot of people are in a tense state. And let's talk about the spiritual community. Not a lot going on there at all.
No.
You want to know why there's not a lot going on there? Because the spiritual people have realized that all the incense burning and so on did not help
Yeah.
their situation. A lot of them are in a state of freeze,
Yeah.
wondering what's happening, right? And a lot of them realize that some of their dreams and aspirations are not coming true, and a lot of them have given up. And if you are in this category and you're watching this broadcast, that would be your sign to get up and do
Yeah.
things again.
Yeah.
Live.
Yeah. Yeah. Live to the best of your ability, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So the spiritual community, I mean, there's so much that can be into that because money situation.
Correct.
They don't have money to buy, whatever somebody may be selling, or, to help them. Um,
And it's
it
also that a lot of politics has permeated the spiritual community.
Oh, I
And
didn't know
it,
this.
it didn't it didn't matter. We were telling them for years, there's no right and left, right?
Mm.
Just stay in the center and stay neutral. But people on both sides are telling them that if you're silent, you're on the other side. And so on.
Oh,
And it's a lot of nonsense has gone on
that is,
and so on. And
use yeah.
sometimes it's better to just be silent and watch the world
I know.
burn because it's been burning for a while.
It has been burning. Yeah, people like to do that with your mind, play jujitsu with your mind, right? Well, you're silent, so then you must agree with that
Yes.
side.
Yeah, the tacit consent nonsense. It's
Yeah,
a bunch of nonsense. Guys, if you are in that category and you're feeling that somebody's putting pressure on you and so on, eject that person, just like that ejector seat in that show, The Knight Rider. You know, that
oh,
little
yeah,
seat that they press and people flow out to the roof.
yeah,
Yeah, just eject people from your lives because toxicity is running rampant in
yeah.
society and you don't need to actually participate in it. You can just ignore it.
You can.
All right.
Or guess what? Why don't you just do what you love to do for its own sake,
Correct.
not for the outside validation of people?
Correct.
You know?
Which brings us to the next issue.
Yeah.
And I think this has a lot to do with the state of the wellness community, whether you're on the conventional side and you're a doctor or a nurse, or whether you're on the spiritual side and you're a Reiki practitioner. They are suffering from, how should I say, a decrease in wellness. It's a fatigue that happens to wellness people, right? That they can no longer talk anymore. And I certainly have experienced it. It's kind of like a mild depressive state where you no longer want to engage and so on. You don't have the energy for it. People have gone into that frozen state and they are not engaging anymore, generally speaking. Now, let me tell you how I feel about that. If you are in the wellness space, you don't get the luxury of giving up. You certainly shouldn't give up on your clients or patients.
Mm-mm.
You shouldn't do that. And you shouldn't give up on advocating for patient agency, wellness, and health. But if you are in that category and you're feeling the burnt out, the fatigue of the family, the fatigue of your job, of the fact that your money is not going too far for whatever, the best thing to do is keep on moving.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you stop, that's a slippery slope down
Mm-hmm.
the hill of apathy. And once you get to the bottom of that hill, you no longer care about anybody. You are no longer a wellness practitioner.
No.
You're just actually serving the illnesses that are running rampant in society, whether they be mental illness or any other physical kind of illness. I don't
Yeah.
know what to say where that is concerned.
Because sometimes when you're down that like apathy road, you turn to different things like food to relieve that.
Hmm.
You turn to different things. So you're just couch potato, you just sit in daze, instead of moving, like motivation.
Correct.
Motivation is important. Even if you don't feel like it. Like I have alternate people that I talk. I have
Yes, because you have a PEMF mat in your basement. That's
I
why,
do.
Amy. Anyway,
Well, I mean, I just think that you've got to motivate yourself because no one else is going to.
correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And we're here to motivate you until you get up and move.
Because we've been through that. I mean, speaking about me. Like,
Which brings us to the next topic on the docket to talk about. Let's talk about the fact that society is becoming 100% more toxic. How do you feel about OnlyFans, Amy? Is it something that you approve of? You think that it's good for society? You think there should be more OnlyFans accounts?
okay, so I have a story, but I'm going to tell you that off air because I wanted to tell you this story off air. But what led me to this was I had a conversation with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And anyways, I was talking to my daughter who is in her 30s. She's 30.
Mhm.
And she took me down the rabbit hole of OnlyFans.
Oh, good. Let's hear it is.
Well, apparently, if can I'm gonna laugh because
No,
apparently
we're not editing anything out of this broadcast, so
okay,
you might as well let it go.
apparently
Mhm.
when men or women, maybe, I don't know, she was mostly talking about men because I was talking to a woman. Apparently, if men want to see pictures of your feet,
Mhm.
it's if you want an OnlyFans account.
Mhm.
Okay, that's not only what they want. You have to do other things with your feet in order for them to pay you. Is this true?
I have no idea.
You
I
don't.
have no.
Okay,
Why
wait.
would you think that I would know?
I don't
Listen,
know. Wait a minute. Wait a
I
minute.
have
So
no idea what, but from what I can gather, people
yeah,
who join OnlyFans, they do it for the money.
yes, that was the conversation with this woman. And I'm like, really? You would do that? You would do that? Okay. Anyways, I'll tell you later about that. But
I have a
so
question.
yeah,
How is this different from prostitution?
it's not. It's not.
So now prostitution is now legal. Okay. The next question is, how is it good for society? This is the unfairness that I
Oh,
find.
I know what. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay, prostitution. It's the old have sex with somebody and that's it, right?
Hmm.
This has gone down a deeper and you get paid for it.
Hmm.
Okay, just from what I see in movies and whatever. Okay. So, the problem is OnlyFans, well, there are prostitutes that are 18, but
Hmm.
the legality of that, like the young girls are doing this and young
Meaning
men.
what? You mean like the 18-year-olds?
Yeah, but I guess they're of age, supposedly. Yeah. Okay, so prostitution was, yeah. I don't know.
I
This is
think
a
this is what hmm.
uh,
I'm told where this is concerned because it's given a lot of women who couldn't get jobs
yeah.
a means of income. However, the means of income they're making is like millions and millions of dollars. Some people are making millions of dollars doing
4
OnlyFans.
million. 4 million this one.
So my question is, do you put them in a regular tax bracket?
No. You put them in the regular tax bracket?
My question is, do you put them in a regular tax bracket? Because for sure, I'm going to ask you a question. There was a lady who was online who had sex with 100 men in a day as
Yeah.
a record, and there
Yep.
was another lady who did 1,000 men in a year or something
Yep.
like that.
Yep.
And people they do it for the notoriety and they do it for the money. My question, and just from an energetic perspective, is this good for society in your opinion?
No, not in my opinion.
Okay, because the argument that people have is that it's good for society because it encourages women to be more open and how should I say, take control of their sexuality.
How's that? I don't even understand. Explain. What do you mean take control of their sexuality? What?
Because for years,
I
women's sexuality, I'm going to be devil's advocate for
I
a lot of these
know.
discussions. For years, women's agency in terms of sexuality has been suppressed by men and stuff like that. And that's a nonsense argument,
That
actually. But
is a
anyway,
not that's nonsense.
all right.
You have a buzzer?
And so now, no, we do have a buzzer actually,
Can
but
I eject you?
I'm not going to enable it. So because you'll be buzzing me all the time. No, but the thing about it, I guess I am a bit torn where this is concerned because
Maybe because you don't have a daughter?
no, I don't have a daughter, but I think a lot of people tend to think in terms of
Right.
of
Some parents would be proud of that. There's some mothers that help their daughters, actually. Yeah, take that. Take that back. I guess call me old-fashioned. That's okay. I don't care. Call me old-fashioned,
yeah,
but
my attitude where this is concerned is that it's probably not so great for society it tends to, especially when it comes to women and so on, I'm not quite sure how it elevates them. I think it also promotes um, men's attitude that as long as you have money, the woman is your slave, and it poisons the minds of
E
men.
exactly. So how are women taking control? I don't don't understand that.
It's
Take
just an
control.
argument that is being made. A lot of these arguments are nonsense arguments when you break them down to
Yeah.
their um their core beliefs. And here's the other thing that I want to say about society. There are a lot of people making arguments on TikTok, on Instagram, or whatever else. They never expose themselves to a real debate. Like Amy and
Yeah.
I, we debate all the time. We don't
Yeah.
agree on anything. Right. Right. Amy and I, we debate all the time, but at
We
least
do.
we expose ourselves to debate to see the other side of the equation.
Yes, which I don't
But
mind. Yeah.
but people in society have become insular in the way that they present their belief systems. They prefer to go into echo chambers, and this is actually a complaint I had with the spiritual community. They're all hiding in little groups on the internet.
Yes.
They don't actually expose themselves to any kind of debate. And a debate does not have to be toxic. We debate all
No,
the time,
we do. We do. We
right?
agree to disagree.
More disagree than agree. But Amy and I debate all the time. But here's the thing: we understand that not everything you will agree on,
No.
and but we expose ourselves to the debate. One of the things that I wanted to do was have canonical priests, like an Anglican priest or whatever, a Christian, come and debate spiritual people on their belief system.
Yes.
That would have been a good idea, right?
Oh, that would have been.
How many people would stand up and actually debate somebody who has a different viewpoint than them without all the shouting over each other and all the ad hominem attacks and so on? We can't have discussions anymore. That's a real problem in society right now.
Yeah.
People can't have discussions anymore, lighthearted discussions. So like we usually end up arguing with each other due to the fact that there's nobody who actually has a different point of view. Let's say for example, we're gonna play this out, Amy.
Okay.
I'm going to
Oh
I'm
God.
going to be the canonical priest because unfortunately I am right. I'm going to be the canonical priest, and you're going to be the spiritual person. So I'm going to tell you that in my belief system, Jesus died for our sin. It is the established religion. It has stood the test of time, and all your belief systems came from break off from the Catholic Church, actually, right? That took all of our esoteric beliefs, misunderstood them, and came up with all this weird aberrations of universal primal force and all that stuff. Right? You. That's what I think. That's what I believe.
I am not good at this religion stuff. So, what am I supposed to be saying? Because I was raised Catholic and I never really took it in. So, what I know about Jesus is that it wasn't that he died for our sins, it was his consciousness that he brought on earth. And
Okay,
that
what does that mean?
I know.
Spiritual person.
I know. See, I knew you were going to do that. I knew you were going to do that. That's
My
all.
point.
It's the energy of
Most spiritual people
see, I
tend to
can't even.
suggest that this concept of Jesus is a fable.
Oh,
Okay,
it's a fable. No, I don't think it's a fable.
so it's a fable. There was no Jesus Christ. The concept of a malevolent God is offensive in and of itself, etc.
Yeah,
And the
no.
canonical priest will tell you this kind of belief system has stood the test of time, and your belief system, which is more recent, although the spiritual person say no, we predate you, right? Is very complicated. And really and truly, that's a valid argument on the part of the canonical religions because spirituality is, it used to be that You believed in a being that's above you, you get into that and so on. But now you have complicated spiritual beliefs, you know. It's no longer dance around the fire. It's like draw the sigil this way and turn it this way and make sure it's at a 90-degree angle, because if it's not a 90-degree angle, it won't be perfect, okay? And you have a bunch of these people
Oh,
who are out there making things more complicated than they actually need to be.
yeah. I don't think that I'm a spirit. I don't know if there's any spiritual community really that I follow. I think I follow my own. Sorry to say.
Best That's the best thing to do.
Yeah, because I can't see, I couldn't even come up with words. I just know the feeling of it, you know, the energy of it. Like, and it's hard. It shouldn't be hard for me, but that I might have to work on a little bit, process that.
Yeah, I think even in the spiritual community there's politics and people attacking each other, and this has been the same all throughout. And I think that um just the general concept is becoming like a little bit offensive all around the fence. Okay, so I think that there's the wellness community is not much better,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
The
yeah.
wellness community is not much better. They have ideas about what wellness means, and we can't even agree on that. So for people who are in the wellness community, they say that wellness is a state where you are of sound body, sound mind, and you are engaged in society.
Uh,
Um, what society? You mean the one that we just discussed, where there's
yeah.
fear and toxicity rampant? No, it might be that wellness might be staying at your home, keeping
Okay.
out of trouble,
Yeah,
keeping your head cool.
that's right. Yeah.
It might be that, or being content with your nuclear family and your small circle of friends.
That's it. Stay home, homies.
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is that the majority of people out there in the wellness community seem to think that true wellness is when you are in a community of varied people, right? And I'm like, you
Well,
know,
you can be in that community. Let's say you can in the wellness community. Are you saying the practitioner parts of it, like the massage, the Reiki, or
yes, the wellness community or the health,
the
the people health, whether they're conventional
oh,
or
yeah. Okay.
on the complementary side. Okay.
Okay. Well, there's a difference there in a way, sorry, but doctors are different than, say, massage therapist. They have different they go to work doing different things.
Hmm.
Do you see?
Yes.
Okay, because the massage therapist can make up her hours and have her appointments the way she wants or he wants to have them.
If the
Doc
if the doctor's in private practice, they can do so.
That's true. Yeah, well, takes a
Yeah,
while.
yeah, but I think the difference lies in the way they approach patients and clients.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
So we say that the conventional side, the doctors and so on, are evidence based.
Yeah.
And we say that the complementary side are more along the lines of, and that's actually kind of like insultive to call somebody's practice complementary. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Because it's needed. It's
And
neat. Yeah.
is it it is needed, because if all the complementary practitioners stopped practicing, we're talking about the massage therapists, the chiropractors, the Reiki, the
Mhm.
people, the burden on the healthcare system, it would collapse within 6 months.
Yes. Even if all those are placebos for people, right?
Yeah, it would the regular traditional
Yeah.
medical system, it would collapse within 6 months. The burden would be insurmountable.
Yeah.
But then what would happen is that the pharmacists and the people who are in big pharma would try to capitalize off of that and drug up the entire population. And some people are being kept out of the medication cycle by the practitioners that these people tend to criticize.
Hmm.
Okay? Because if you let's say your massage therapist is the one that's handling your stress, or your local counselor is the one that's handling your stress. Can you imagine if that person was taken away?
Yeah, no.
I'm going to tell you a movement that's happening in Canada right now. Our federal government is trying to trying to regulate supplements.
Oh, yes. Yes.
They're trying to regulate supplements. That would be vitamins, in case you guys didn't know. That would be stuff like creatine, vitamins, and the such like minerals. How do you regulate something like that?
Uh,
And
well,
the excuse has always been, actually, Amy, I want to spend a section of this talking about the increasingly mandatory part of how people are being hemmed into a corner.
yeah.
On top of all the stress that is in society right now, and we're going to get to the part where we talk about the good parts of society. But right now, let's just deal with the stuff that's the elephants in the room.
Hmm.
People are being hemmed into corners financially, in terms of social media and otherwise. It used to be that you had a phone, you picked up the phone, you got your banking information and so on. Now you have two-factor authentication.
Yeah.
Now, that was supposed to be, we're trying to protect the public's privacy by putting this thing in place, which is a barrier so that hackers can get your information. Okay, that's fine. Not a problem up until the point in time when you're telling me that you're going to send a code to my phone to force me to keep my phone on me all the time. So anywhere I go, you're sending a code to my phone. I have to keep my phone on. I have to keep it close to me because that's where you're going to send it.
Yeah.
Why? Why can't I just give you my email address? You send me an email so that I can access my stuff from the computer. Right? Why can't I do these things? So this is basically what's happening. So it forces you to keep your phone on. And if your phone is on, you're going to go to social media and get your daily dose of poison.
It's like they're working together.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's not bad enough. You're going to tell me that you're going to regulate a whole bunch of things. So you're going to regulate certain professions, especially the complementary professions, so that the people that I would get relief from can't do that anymore. And now you're going to regulate supplements like vitamins and minerals and stuff like that, so that you are hemmed into this thing that says that you need to go through certain channels to get certain kinds of um health products.
Yeah.
Horrifying. It's horrifying. This is the world that we are living in.
And I always wonder what's in the works coming down the pipe.
Yeah, there's always something else coming down the pipe, which is
They're all
what has people in a state of freeze, because they keep putting more and more restrictions, more and more legislation on people. And I have a theory about certain things, because this is a kind of gradual encroachment on human freedoms. About 60 years ago, a guy named L. Ron Hubbard,
Mhm.
he's the guy who created this concept of Dianetics,
Yeah.
and he predicted that nation states would keep encroaching on the citizens' freedoms bit by bit until the citizens had no choices in anything. Okay, which is why I say to people, if you are not doing it right now, get yourself a little plant pot and start planting your own vegetables and so on, because you're not going to have a lot of choices in anything. You mean to tell me that the world has a population problem, and what happens is that you create genetically modified food, then you find out that it actually is harming the population, but you can't stop it.
Yeah. Ooh.
So you keep pumping genetically modified food, but don't worry, When you get sick, we got pills for that. So we're going to pass you over to the pharmacy to get pharmacological drugs to make you better, but they would have side effects. But don't worry, we got you covered with more pills.
Okay, this is getting a little too heavy today. We need to stop right now because
Yes,
woo!
yeah,
I
but
can.
this is what we live in. The
I
good parts
know.
of society right now is that there seems to be a resurgence where people are actively resisting this stuff.
Yeah.
I see more people planting gardens and so on. I see more people out, well, especially where I live,
Yeah.
right, in active resistance against this stuff and not bowing to a lot of stuff anymore. Okay, and a lot of people no longer trust certain organizations, and I can't blame them because I
No.
don't trust them either.
Yeah. That's all. It's all discernment. You can create your own reality in a
You
way.
can.
So go do that.
You
Create your
can create
own
your own
reality.
reality.
You can. Yes.
Speaking about creating your own reality,
Yeah.
for those of
We
you who
created ours.
we did, we certainly did.
We
Right.
created ours.
It pays to have somebody that doesn't take things too seriously around you, because this is basically it's kind of like food for the soul, because if you take things seriously and you really pay attention to everything that is happening, things can get pretty dark very, very quickly.
Yeah. Just flush it all. Flush it. Flush it down the toilet. Bye. Bye.
I was about to ask a question, but I'll ask that.
Don't.
Right. So, guys, that's basically what we want to talk about.
Yeah.
In terms of creating our own reality, first things first, in case you guys have not seen on social media, we are putting out a number of things which would be of interest to you. The first thing that we're putting out is the Seeds of Harmony. We've created a little bit of a galactic history of the universe, and we're going to be putting it out on social media. It's
Yes.
purely for entertainment, but you guys can actually look at it. We also have a number of courses that are in the works right now. One of the most popular of our courses right now is the empowerment of caregivers and pain management. So for those of you who are looking after people who are elderly, as an example, or people with health crises who require special care and you don't know where to start, we have that on. We've already completed that course. You guys can take that course and it will tell you where to start, how to manage the healthcare system effectively and not get tripped up or lose your agency as a patient or as a caregiver when you're dealing with your loved one to the medical system or any other system for that matter, the insurance people or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
We also have a number of AI products which we've put out. The most popular of them being Dream Pro. Oh my God.
Oh my God. And Spirit Pro.
Correct. These two have been quite useful to a lot of people.
Yes.
And they're quite amazing apps. So if you don't know what these apps are, you need to go back and check it out, because if you are in the wellness space, you definitely can benefit from having those apps for sure.
Okay, tell them the next one that's coming out. It's
The next
color
one
of
that is
my
coming
wall.
out, the next app that's coming out real soon is an app that we utilize for the wellness practitioners. If you're an energy healer, whether you use crystals or whatever else, the app will actually give you the formulas to assist your clients.
Yes.
So you don't have to think about it too much.
What is the name of that one?
We're calling it Amethyst.
Amethyst. AMYTHYST.
Yeah. We're calling it Amethyst. And so
I had to fight for that one, guys. I had to fight for that one.
Yeah, you did. You really did. Right. And yeah, so this is basically what's going on. We're back on air, and if you guys have any feedback for us in terms of things you would like us to cover, because there's nowhere we will not go.
Yes.
We're not
Yes.
that kind of podcast. I don't care about getting canceled, banned, censored, or whatever the case may be. We really don't care.
And
We do this for the love of it.
yes. And if you're new to this show, welcome, everybody. Welcome to the chaos, the calm. We'll give you whatever. We're candid. Don't pass judgments either, right? Right? Like, we're just here to have fun.
We're just here to have fun, correct. And we
Don't
will
hold
not
anything against us.
yeah, and none of these shows will be edited either. So,
I
guys,
know.
you will not be edited. Welcome to Unscripted. We were happy that you tuned in, and we hope
Yeah.
to see you soon. Okay?
Until next time, keep it unscripted.
Keep it unscripted.
Yes.
No censoring allowed.
Oh, and since I brought my daughter's name up today, or brought my daughter up,
Mhm.
go check her fantasy jewelry that she hand makes and handcrafts. Talk about she could live on her own. Right.
Give them your daughter's Instagram or website, please.
Yeah, mageofmetals.com. She actually carves and creates her jewelry. It's not manufactured over in China, nowhere like that. And it's fantasy jewelry. So fantasy, I'll leave that up to you, whatever you think fantasy is. But go check her website out.
All right, guys. We'll see you in the next episode.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye.
Seeds of Harmony, The Birth of Earth from Cosmic Strife. Chapter 1, Celestia's Ethereal Dawn. In the luminous reaches of Celestia, where light mingles with whispers of cosmic eternity, a majestic scene unfolds. The Galactic Council, a congregation of ancient beings, has gathered in a crystalline chamber suspended between stardust and time. This sacred hall, fashioned by energies older than the known galaxy, reverberates with a silent melody that only the pure of heart can sense. Here, representatives of the Arcturians, Draconians, Pleiadians, and Greys have come together to deliberate the path that will shape the destiny of countless worlds. Under a vault of shimmering nebulae and radiant cosmic streams, the council members take their seats. The Arcturians, with their softly glowing eyes and fluid gestures, speak in musical tones that echo across the hall. The Pleiadians, luminous and graceful, share ancient parables of unity. The Greys, with faces marked by wisdom and subtle empathy, observe each nuance. At the center of this gathering stand the Draconians, beings whose imposing presence is matched only by the intensity in their eyes. Their scales reflect a spectrum of ember and shadow as they shift in anticipation, hinting at ambitions that defy the peace of Celestia. As the council convenes, conversations begin with harmonious greetings and subtle expressions of hope. The chamber, carved from crystalline formations, amplifies every word and gesture. Members recount the storied past of the cosmos, tales of birth, struggle, and eventual unity after cosmic strife. Legends of the Ascended Masters, those mystics who transcended mortal bounds to maintain equilibrium, are recited in hushed, reverent tones. It is in these early moments that the seeds of both hope and latent discord are sown, for not every soul in Celestia cherishes the same vision. An abrupt shift in tone sweeps over the chamber as the Draconians rise. Their leader, cloaked in hues of twilight and flame, projects a voice that vibrates through the very foundations of Celestia. With stern cadence and unyielding resolve, he unveils a plan that has long been hidden, a desire for dominion over the cosmic order. His words, like shards of obsidian, cut through the collective calm of the council. He speaks of territories yet unclaimed, of cosmic energies ripe for harnessing, and of a future ruled by strength and conquest rather than empathy and unity. This revelation jolts the assembly into a state of disquiet. The Arcturians exchange glances of sorrow and disbelief, their once melodious tones now tinged with apprehension. The Pleiadians tighten their graceful poses, their eyes reflecting the weight of ancient memories and the fragility of their hopes. The Greys offer subdued murmurs of concern, their reserved demeanors betray an inner battle between loyalty to old alliances and the instinct to preserve balance. The utopian dream of a unified galaxy is suddenly clouded by the specter of tyranny, tensions and the stirring of ancient fears. In the wake of the Draconians' declaration, the chamber becomes a microcosm of conflict. Heated debates ensue, interspersed with lengthy silences where the only sound is the soft hum of cosmic energy circulating through Celestia. One Arcturian elder recalls ancient transgressions by similar ambitious forces, warning that unchecked dominance inevitably leads to a fracturing of the cosmic tapestry. A Pleiadian seer, whose luminous eyes seem to peer into the depths of time, warns of the avalanche of consequences if the Draconians' ambitions are allowed to manifest. These voices, laden with the wisdom of millennia, strive to remind the Council that the cosmos flourishes through cooperation, not conquest. Under the ever-watching gaze of cosmic statues sculpted by long-forgotten celestial artisans, the deliberations venture into deeply metaphysical realms. Questions arise: can the natural order, a complex interplay of chaos and order, truly sustain the imbalances hinted at by the Draconians? What role do the Ascended Masters play in a destiny destined for upheaval? With every questioning glance and fervent appeal for restraint, the ancient specter of war looms larger, its shadow darkening the brilliant aura of Celestia. The call of the Ascended Masters. Amidst the clamor, a moment of sublime silence befalls the assembly. An ethereal light emerges in the far recesses of the chamber, heralding the arrival of the Ascended Masters. Cloaked in shimmering garments that seem woven from pure starlight, these timeless entities step forward with eyes that contain the wisdom of countless galaxies. Their presence is a reminder of a balance that transcends individual ambitions, a cosmic pact formed eons ago to ensure that no single force could overwhelm the universe. The Ascended Masters speak not with words but with an aura of serene authority. Their silent communication washes over the Council, a reminder that the delicate equilibrium of existence is interwoven with threads of compassion, sacrifice, and mutual respect. Their influence is palpable, instilling both calm and resolve among the assembly. In the delicate interplay of light and shadow, the Council members are compelled to reassess their stances, to weigh ambition against the eternal call for unity. A clash of ideals and foresight. Within the crystalline hall, subgroups form as ancient rivalries and new allegiances take shape. The Draconians, emboldened by their leaders' defiant vision, argue that a galaxy governed by the strong and unyielding is the only path to progress. They speak of cosmic order achieved through decisive action and unchallengeable control. Yet, their words conflict with the enduring lore of an interconnected cosmos, where strength is most potent when combined with wisdom and compassion. The Pleiadians and Arcturians advocate for balanced evolution, insisting that cosmic progress is inherently intertwined with the well-being of all beings. A Grey's diplomat, soft-spoken yet resolute, recalls moments from the distant past when the galaxy teetered on the brink of chaos, only to be saved by a collective effort symbolized by the guidance of the Ascended Masters. His voice carries the weight of history and the sorrow of loss, urging the Council to heed the lessons of former ages. Each argument, each rebuttal, builds a tapestry of cosmic philosophy where unity is the only shield against impending destruction. Celestial dialogues and hidden agendas. Interwoven with the debate are subtle convocations of ancient magic and esoteric lore. The chamber is filled with symbols that flicker with cosmic energy, reading like an arcane script that only the initiated can decipher. The Arcturians invoke the ancient rites of starlight communion, summoning visions of the primordial forces that birthed the universe. The Pleiadians recount the songs of creation, their voices lifting in a harmonious cadence that resonates with the soul of every council member. In contrast, the Draconians advance a doctrine marked by ruthless efficiency and the promise of a singular, implacable order. A tension not merely of opinions but of existential values fills the air. It becomes evident that this council is not just about political governance but a clash of souls representing divergent cosmic expeditions. The deliberations grow in complexity as subtle alliances are forged and hidden agendas come to light. What started as a peaceful assembly now transforms into a crucible where the very essence of cosmic destiny is put to the test. The quiet murmur of dissent is countered by unwavering declarations of unity, leading to an atmosphere thick with anticipation and an undercurrent of impending change. Storms of prophecy and the shadow of conflict. As the debate intensifies, the hall seems to tremble with the echo of ancient prophecies. The ascended masters, standing as eternal witnesses, remind the council that every action has its ripple in the fabric of spacetime. Their silent gaze pierces through the veneer of political posturing and reaches into the heart of every being present. The prophecy of cosmic strife, long buried in the annals of celestial memory, resurfaces in whispered tones. It warns that if the ambitions of a single faction go unchecked, the scales of cosmic balance will tip, ushering in an era of relentless conflict and sorrow. During this pivotal moment, even the most stoic of delegates cannot hide their inner turmoil. The weight of destiny, of both potential glory and unspeakable ruin, hangs heavy in the charged air. Every word spoken and every gesture made is fraught with the possibility of altering the course of history. Memories of ancient battles, of civilizations that rose and fell under the strain of cosmic discord, flash through the minds of the council members as they weigh the consequences of the Draconian's declarations. Seeds of turmoil and the glimmer of hope. In the heart of this divine assembly, a subtle yet profound transformation begins. Amidst the rising tension and passionate appeals, there emerges a sense of collective responsibility. The Arcturians advocate for a cosmic covenant, a binding, unspoken agreement to protect the sanctity of the galaxy. The Pleiadians offer visions of a future where differences are celebrated rather than suppressed, urging all to see the beauty in diversity. The Greys, drawing on an ancient reserve of pragmatic wisdom, suggest that the only way forward is to integrate the strengths of all beings while vigilantly guarding against the dark allure of dominance. The Draconians, however, remain unmoved, their eyes fixed on a distant horizon where they envision a civilization forged in fire and might. Their rhetoric, though compelling to some, creates a fissure that threatens the very foundation of the Council's unity. In defiance, some among the Draconians begin to question the efficacy of subtle persuasion, advocating instead for a swift and decisive reordering of the cosmic hierarchy. Mystical confluences and the weight of destiny. As hours stretch into what seems like an eternity, the Council finds itself at a crossroads. The Ascended Masters, having communicated their silent wisdom, now take a more active role. They move among the representatives like gentle breezes that encourage reflection and instill calm. Their presence seems to stitch together the disparate threads of debate, reminding everyone of the interconnected nature of all cosmic life. In hushed conversations that bubble up like secret streams of enlightenment, delegates exchange revelations and half-whispered hopes for a future where conflict gives way to growth. The crystalline walls of the council chamber begin to shift, displaying visions of forgotten epochs, a time when galaxies were young and the forces of light and dark danced in eternal balance. Amid these visions, delegates see the inevitable consequences of ignoring the wisdom embedded in the cosmic order. The beauty of these images is marred only by the stark reminder that every act of self-interest triggers a reaction that resonates through the echelons of time. A celestial debate of values. In this charged moment, the Council delves into a debate that transcends mere power politics. It becomes a philosophical confrontation over the values that underpin existence. Is power meant to be monopolized by a select few, or is the essence of life found in the shared brilliance of many? The Draconians assert that order demands a hierarchical system where the strong lead, while the collective majority must follow. In response, the Arcturians and Pleiadians, with voices filled with poetic intensity, argue for a tapestry of diverse energies, each contributing to the richness of the cosmic mosaic. Every argument is underscored by a deep awareness of the stakes involved. The conversation is not abstract, it is a matter of life and death for worlds yet unborn. The Council is not merely debating policy, but the very nature of existence itself. Bit by bit, ancient resentments are dredged up, and the inevitability of cosmic change is laid bare. Each faction, with its own history and aspirations, finds its convictions challenged by the complexity of a universe that defies easy categorization. Emerging fractures and a critical juncture. A palpable fracture begins to form within the council as ideology clashes with personal ambition. Delegates find themselves torn between centuries-old loyalties and the seductive call of a new cosmic order. The atmosphere, once filled with the harmonious echoes of shared existence, now vibrates with the tension of near collisions, both physical and metaphysical. In whispered side conversations, alliances are redrawn and personal doubts are exchanged like precious commodities in a trade of trust. Some among the draconians begin to see hints of hubris in their own arguments, questioning whether the pursuit of power might lead to unforeseen calamities. Others, however, cling to their vision with unwavering determination, convinced that only through strength can true evolution be realized. As the debate stretches on, time itself seems to slow, each moment heavy with the promise of either renewal or ruin. Rising above the discord. In the midst of this tumultuous dialogue, emerging voices call for mediation, a plea to remember that the Cosmic Council is built upon the very foundation of unity. Several delegates, drawing on their profound spiritual insights, remind their peers of the ancient covenant sealed by the Ascended Masters. They speak of the intrinsic value of diversity and the idea that even in the midst of conflict, a higher order of cooperation can prevail. Their eloquent expressions ignite sparks of reflection among even the most ardent proponents of domination. Celestial echoes resound as the chamber fills with a chorus of gentle yet persuasive affirmations. The Council is witnessing not only a struggle for power but also the reclamation of a deeper truth, that every creature, every spark of consciousness, is an integral note in the grand symphony of the cosmos. The seeds of unity, though buried under layers of ambition and dissent, begin to sprout in the fertile soil of shared destiny. A moment of uncertain tranquility. Amid the clamor and fury of competing ideologies, a transient calm settles over the assembly. Delegates from all factions, compelled by the gravity of the moment, pause to reflect on the path that lies ahead. The Ascended Masters, with their inscrutable smiles, seem to signal that the decisions made in this chamber will resonate far beyond the walls of Celestia. It is a moment fraught with potential, a pause in the celestial narrative before the inevitable plunge into either light or darkness. Even as voices rise once more to push forward their distinct visions for the future, the mood in the chamber has unmistakably shifted. The old accords are being challenged and redefined. The Cosmic Council stands at a precipice, with the weighty knowledge that every word, every sentiment expressed, carries the power to shape fate across the infinite expanse of space. In this charged environment, the seeds of harmony and discord have been sown equally, each awaiting their moment to bloom or wither in the cosmic garden of destiny. Unresolved, the Council remains adrift in a state of unresolved tension. The luminous chamber of Celestia is now a living testament to the dual nature of existence, a blend of chaos and order, of ambition and unity. The stage is set for the cosmic conflict that looms on the horizon, and the fate of many galaxies depends on the delicate balance struck in this timeless moment.
Are you ready to transform your health journey? Introducing NutriPro, the ultimate nutrition web app designed to revolutionize the way you eat and live. With personalized meal plans, NutriPro tailors every bite to your unique dietary needs and preferences. Whether you're aiming to lose weight, build muscle, or simply eat healthier, we've got you covered. Track your progress with our intuitive tools. Visualize your development and stay motivated by setting and achieving milestones. Access expert advice at your fingertips. Connect with nutritionists and dive into a wealth of knowledge to tackle your dietary challenges. Join our thriving community. Share your journey, participate in challenges, and find endless encouragement from fellow health enthusiasts. Ready to transform your nutrition planning? Join us for our exclusive webinar on January 26th and get started with NutriPro today.